Learning style? Sure.
You go ahead.
Thank you everyone for sharing your learning, how you learn best. I think for me, it's definitely more visual, so I need to see it. And then like nowadays when I Google for like how to do things, if there's a video, like a YouTube video, I would always click that first instead of going to read like a written part of it. And then I will watch it and see how it's done in real person and then try to do it myself, I guess.
Good morning, everyone. I guess in response to the question, I guess I learn best when all of the different senses are engaged, and if you can show me, if you can tell me so that I can hear it, and if you can engage me in doing whatever I'm supposed to learn, doing it, I think that's how I learn best, and I think that's perhaps the most I guess easy way to remember things is when you're able to incorporate all of your senses in whatever you're doing. So yeah. Thank you, Marge, and thank you everyone for being here and hearing our story. We're Jeri and Khai, and we're the owners, small business owners of the first LearningRx Center in Canada. We opened back not long ago in the middle of the pandemic, and of all times, go figure. Yeah, we opened last year of October. And a little bit about myself. I've been working as a high school teacher for the past 14 or so years prior to getting into this. And I used to teach up in the beautiful little town of Bracebridge, and I was mainly a tech teacher, teaching construction, woodworking, and communications. And lastly, I ended up teaching with computer science of all things, because I was the next best knowledgeable person to teach that subject. It was fun. It kind of kept me on my toes for a fair bit, and I enjoyed working with students in like the extracurricular activities, and I was a mentor on the robotics team, and I helped organize the school board's robotics fair, and I also helped coach the track and cross-country running and ski team as well. And actually, one of my former students, Natalia Hawthorne, who I coached on the ski team and the track team, she continued on with her love of running by competing at the Olympics this past summer, which was really exciting. Just to see her on the world stage and to have been a part of her journey to where she is now, that was very exciting. Yeah. I guess that's a little bit about myself, and then maybe Jeri can share.
Yeah, so a little bit about me. So I come from a more entrepreneurial background. My mom, she had her own company when I was young, and when I graduated from my undergrad in Montreal, actually. So I used to live in Montreal for like 12 years. So I did my high school and my undergrad there. So I went in business school. After I graduated, I actually opened a sushi restaurant. So if you guys like sushi, maybe one day I can come and share about sushi. I make pretty good sushi.
She does.
So I run the restaurant. It was a franchise as well. It's called Sushi Shop. It's more like popular in Quebec. There's like probably like 100 stores in Quebec. There's only a few in Ontario, I think. So I ran the restaurant for like 4 years, and then I kind of moved to Ontario and did my MBA at Schulich. So after Schulich, I became a financial advisor at a broker. So and then I did that for a while, and then until we met and we got married. Oh, so we got married right before the lockdown, like literally like the Saturday, and then the Sunday went in lockdown. So we were very, very grateful for people who showed up despite COVID. And we were very happy that nothing happened. And like everyone now, like if we like contact them, they will be like, that was the last big party before the pandemic for the last like 2 years. So we were happy to throw a big party for everyone. And so yeah, we were very grateful that we got married. And then, so we met and then we just thought, oh, like how interesting is, so I guess I'll talk about how I got to know like this opportunity. So I actually, when I was in, I think it was when I was working, when I was running a restaurant, we already came across for this LearningRx. And it was a friend who introduced it to us. And he was like, oh, this is like so cool, blah, blah, blah. So we actually did go to the head office in US and we spoke to them. And then they were like, oh, we don't want to enter Canada as like Montreal as the first center because of Quebec, because of French. They were just like not ready to invest in translating the whole thing. So basically they're like, oh, we're not ready to think about entering Canada at all. So then I was like, okay, fine, then I would just continue running my restaurant then. And then I think when we met, and I know Kai is a high school teacher, and I was like, so I brought it up again, I researched, and I was like, how come there's like 10 years after there still isn't a center? And so we kind of like approached them again, and we were like really happy that they're more ready this time. And then we're finally bringing some really cool stuff to Ontario. Yeah, so I'll let Kai talk about.
Yeah, so when Jeri told me about brain training, I was the teacher at the time, and as I learned more about what brain training is, I started thinking of all the kids that I taught in which brain training could help and be a benefit to. Like I even started thinking of people outside of the classroom that I know of that could, benefit from the training. And like the whole idea of brain training is fascinating to me. The idea of neuroplasticity, the ability of the brain to modify its connections and to rewire itself or change through growth and reorganization was amazing. And yeah, so uh, you want to maybe just mention a bit about
Oh
this?
yeah, do we have a slide for that?
Yeah.
Maybe we can share our screen first.
Just give me 1 second here while I pull up the slide.
So yeah, I think hearing your sharings, I realized there's actually a lot of teachers and that's in this group, so it's like very cool. And I think like especially Mary Jane might know this a little bit more because we're like in the same industry. So it's very interesting to see like, because it's all brain training, it's a more or less a unfamiliar concept to a lot of people. So we've been trying really hard to let people know what it means, what it does, and stuff like that. So yeah. Oh, okay. Then I would just talk about it. Maybe stop sharing and I'll talk about it. Okay, so like brain training can actually help a lot of different individuals. So for example, for people who have learning disabilities, like learning reading struggles or like dyslexia even, and then math struggles, like attention struggles especially. So a lot of our current students, most of them have ADD or ADHD. And so homework struggles, we even have we help, the brain training can help autism spectrum as well, kids on the spectrum. And the autism spectrum, it's very wide right now. So it includes a lot of people like in that. So even like ADD and ADHD is part of the spectrum as well now. So we like brain training, I think in many ways it helps them to learn better. And we also help traumatic brain injury. So it could be people who had surgery due to like a illness or because they had an accident. And then like, for example, soldiers from the front line. And we also help high performing students where they are learning, but sometimes, like we're Kai's going to talk about the cognitive skills later on. And then there's always like in the set of the skills, there's also some skills that we're weaker at. So there's always room for improvements, right? So like brain training can help with that too, to always sharpen those skills. So we do help also adults, like so people who are in like very high demanding job, like a doctor or lawyers or like these very people who needs their skills at the top to sharpen their skills. And we can also, like brain training can also help older adults, seniors, where like memory decline is happening. The training really is because it's kind of like a lot of you said, it's repetition, right? So the repetition helps rebuild that missing part. Yeah, so that's kind of in a nutshell the people that can really benefit from brain training. And then Kai can talk about the cognitive skills.
Yeah, so I think it's also important to note that like we don't diagnose or treat or cure any of these conditions, but we have helped improve like many of these individuals' cognitive skills. Yeah, let me just screen here with you. So this is the learning model that we observe. I'm not sure you guys can see this. Okay, so this is the learning model that we observe here at LearningRx, and so this is the Cattell-Horn-Carroll theory, and it's widely accepted. It's widely accepted as the most like comprehensive and empirically supported psychological theory on the structure of human cognitive abilities. And every task that we do each and every day goes through a process. And here, as you can see here on your left, you have your input. So we receive information through what we see, what we feel, what we hear, what we touch. And then what we've got over here is your output. And we output information, what we've learned in the form of writing, spelling, drawing, speaking, testing, or even just giving a speech or talking to other people and telling them what we know. And then in between the input and the output is the brain's processing of that information. Okay. To see how this process works, I want you to try a task with me, and it's going to get a little bit interactive over here. Now, your answer isn't important, but I want you to feel how it works, okay?
So everyone try.
I want everyone to try this. Without writing it down, I want you to spell the province. I want you to spell the westernmost Canadian province backwards. Okay. Give me a hands up if you think you've got it.
Just give it a try. Don't write it down. I see a lot of people like looking up. That's when you are visualizing. I could tell.
Now, give me a hands up if you guys can do that with no problem. Okay.
It's hard.
It's challenging. Yeah. So again, your answer is not what we're looking at. Being able to do it is not exactly what we're looking for. But what I want to to show you here is to give you an idea of how all of these cognitive skills kind of come into play in doing a task like that. If your attention skills, okay, so it's your ability to focus and to stay on task. If your attention skills were weak, how do you think that might have affected your ability to perform that task? Okay, like you probably might, I don't know, you might be distracted by a bird flying by your window, and you would get distracted, and you wouldn't you wouldn't be able to do that task, or it would take you longer to do that task. And let's say if your processing speed, so processing speed is like how quickly you can do a simple mental activity. If you had slow processing speed, it would take you a long time to do that task, or you wouldn't be able to do it as fast as the person next to you. And it would make the task that much more difficult. And then next, what we've got here is your working memory. So working memory is the ability, your ability to keep information long enough to use it and then letting it go. And how do you think that might have affected your ability to perform that task if you had poor working memory? You know, like if you were in the process of trying to spell out British Columbia backwards, you know, partway through, you may have forgotten like at what point you were at as you were trying to sound out British Columbia, perhaps. So that's your working memory. And then there's your logic and reasoning skills, which involves like a lot of planning and strategy. Like, how am I going to do this? Where should I start? And so if this task of spelling this province name backwards is something that you've never done before, you wouldn't even know where to begin. Like, I give up, you know, I don't know how to approach this. I don't know how to do this. So that's your logic and reasoning skills. And then next we have here is your auditory processing, which I've heard from many of you mention about how you are a more auditory learner, and it's your ability to blend and segment and analyze sounds that you hear. If you had good auditory processing skills, you would probably try to sound out the word British Columbia and then try to spell it out that way. How many of you did that? How many of you tried to sound it out? Okay, good. So, you know, that's a sign that you have some fairly decent auditory processing skills. And then next over here, we have visual processing. And visual processing is your ability to create a movie in your head, or your ability to read maps, and your ability to visualize something in your head. Okay. Now, I bet you quite a majority of you will probably be doing this in your head as you try to do this task here. You would try to visualize the word British Columbia in your head and try to spell it out backwards that way. How many of you did that? Okay, good. It's a good number of you. Yeah, so and then next we have long-term memory, and long-term memory is like your ability to recall and remember and make good associations from past information. So this would probably involve going back to your grade 9 geography class when you learned about all the different provinces of Canada, and be able to figure out, oh, okay, the westernmost province is British Columbia. And so that's kind of in a nutshell how all of these cognitive skills come into play. Yeah, so, oh, I forgot to mention about the filing cabinet here. But this filing cabinet kind of represents, the stored information in our heads. And, schools, they focus on delivering information to us. They're focused on getting information into these filing cabinets over here, and tutoring. It's essentially just reteaching what the schools teach, and again also focus on delivering information. So brain training is different from schools and from tutoring, which focuses on delivering information. Brain training focuses on strengthening each of these cognitive skills over here that are so essential for thinking and learning and reading and memory and attention. Yeah. And I think of all the schools that all the students that I've taught in the past, and I honestly believe that every single kid, or if not all, most kids would want to be successful in school. And when I see, or when I hear kids being seemingly lazy or not uninterested in schools, or in school subjects and classes, I honestly believe that it's likely one of these weak cognitive skills here that is causing them to be seemingly uninterested and lazy with schoolwork. So yeah. Mhm. So I hope that kind of helps you to better understand what cognitive skills are and why it's so important to learning to learning. Um,
Okay,
mhm.
so now we're gonna get into something a little bit more fun and interactive. So we have like two procedures that we can kind of show you how brain training is done. So can you put the slide out to
Oh,
the attention arrows?
okay.
So I'm gonna ask for like maybe one volunteer while the rest of you can follow at your own pace, but I just need one volunteer to do this with me to try it out.
Mm, mm.
And if you maybe can raise your hand if you would like to try, and then you can just unmute yourself.
Sorry, I'm trying to
Oh,
figure
Mary Jane. Okay, cool.
out. Now, Mary Jane, because she's done this kind of stuff before with Aerosmith, she might have some pretty strong cognitive skills here. So.
Yeah, so like everyone else, you can follow along. And so, okay, so Mary Jane, I'm gonna ask you to do the first three rows of the arrows, naming off, calling out the colors of the arrow as fast as you can. I'm gonna time you, okay? And see how fast you can do this. If you make a mistake, just keep going.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
ready? Go.
Okay. Yellow, red, blue, green, yellow, red, yellow, green, blue, red, green, green, red, yellow, green, blue, red, green, green, yellow, red, blue, green, yellow, red, blue, yellow, red, green, blue, blue, red, green, blue, red, yellow.
Good. That was 17 seconds. Very good. Okay, so that was very good. Okay, so now we're gonna up the game a little bit. I will have you call out the direction of the arrows, and like alternating directions and color. So you would say color direction, color direction. So it'll be yellow down, blue up.
Oh, not east. Okay. Okay. I've got it. Okay.
You were too good for the first for the
Okay. So do you want like left, right, or what? For the ones that go sideways?
yeah, left, right, exactly.
Okay. And then up, down, right?
Yes. So it will be color direction, alternating.
Okay. So the first three rows?
We'll just try the first two rows.
Okay. Okay. Yellow left, red down, blue right, green up, yellow down, red left, yellow right, green down, blue down, red right, green left, green up, red left, yellow right, green down, blue down, red right, green left, green up, yellow left, red down, blue right, green up, yellow down.
Good job. That's fast. I think I was lost halfway. I was like, what? What's it going on? Okay. So that's good. And then usually we would have, I don't know if you guys can see this metronome. So a lot of people, if you play the music, you'll know what this is. So it's basically,
Yeah.
we'll put put the students on a beat. And because the beat that's basically practicing, right? Like beat makes things harder because when you need to output on a beat constantly, it needs to be you need to know it automatically almost, right? So we will try at 120.
So what do you want me to do?
So you can do the same thing, maybe okay, maybe we can try the word one.
Um,
So do you want the color, the direction, or both?
we want you to call out the.
I want to try the word one, the next slide.
Hang on. Oh, okay. Sorry, we're just gonna
Yeah,
move on to a different one.
so this is like a little bit harder because now you can see the color and the word.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'll put you on a beat and I want you to name the color. So it will be the same thing like last time, alternating between color word, color word. So by word, I mean what the word actually says. So it'll be blue, blue, black, yellow, if we're following the first row. Okay. So color word, and I'll put you on a beat. You have to do it on every other beat.
Okay,
Got it?
I think so. I'll try.
So we'll try at one.
So okay, example. Green, blue, red, yellow, black, red, green, blue, black, yellow, red, blue, green. Is that what you want?
That you're only calling out the word. So it'll be blue, the like color word. So the color of the actual word, it's blue, right?
Yeah.
So blue, and then word, it's the next word, it's blue.
Oh, I see. Okay, so is the first word the word or is it the color?
Color. So color would be blue.
Oh, I get it. Okay, all right. Green, yellow, red.
It's a black.
Blue. Yeah, I get it. Okay, I got it.
Right. So black, yellow, green, red, green.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I got it. Okay. So which line?
Just the first two.
The first two.
Yeah.
Okay. So color. So word, color, word, color.
Color word, color word.
Okay. Color word. Okay. Blue.
You hear the beat?
Yeah. Okay.
So I want you to do it on every other beat, like green, blue, blue, black.
Okay. All right. Got it. Okay. Okay. Green. Okay. Green, yellow, red, blue, green, red, green, no, yellow, green. Okay. Black, blue, yellow, black, red, green, red, black.
Good.
Yeah, it's harder than it seems. Yeah.
Yeah. So
especially every other beat. I was tapping, maybe you could hear it, but yeah, it's harder to do it that way. Yes. Because you put it in your mind and you want to say it right away, but then you have to pause.
Exactly. You have to follow the beat. So yeah. So that's much harder. That's already a very high level. So good job. Thank you for participating.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. Can we Jeri and Khai, can we wrap up in about 5 minutes?
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
So we can tell that Mary Jane has some pretty good processing speed and cognitive skills there. She was able to jump through many of the different levels, and whereas I don't think I could even do some of the later ones. I just wanted to also mention about some of the resources that we have on our website. If this is something that you guys are interested in learning more about, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna actually just. I don't have the link with me right now, but
we can send it to maybe Marsh, and then she can send it out.
Great. So on our website, there's a section for brain training resources, and
can you guys see the screen? Okay.
There is some free like a free resources bundle in which you guys can download. There we have a the Unlock the Einstein Ebook, and this will kind of help you walk through in terms of learning about what's at the root cause of learning, reading, and attention struggles, and how to best address these learning. There's also like a LearningRx game pack as well, filled with engaging brain activities for you or maybe your student to try out. And we also have a root cause magazine, and also some research results and client outcomes for you to read about too. That like don't just take our word for it in terms of how well it works, but you can find out about the research that's going on behind it as well. There's also like a free brain quiz that you can take as well to kind of help you see maybe if there is something behind some of the struggles that you may be seeing as well. And then lastly, there is also this Brainy Moms podcast that is being put out every week, where the hosts will interview experts and share advice and discuss topics on the topics of parenting and education and psychology and neuroscience. So there's a lot of great resources out there that I just want to point out to you guys. And lastly, we are going to be at the so this coming Saturday. I don't know if any of you are around in town, but the Richmond Hill Board of Trade is actually hosting a I think it was
multicultural something.
Multicultural Diversity and Business Festival, and there's going to be a lot of booths set up from local businesses, and there's going to be
Some shows.
some live shows as well. And it's being held at the Board of Trade, which is located by Church and Weldrick, and right in facility there. So we'll be set up there, and if you guys want to come and drop by and say hi and maybe grab some of our brochures, feel free to drop by. Yeah. And so thank you all for listening to us, and yeah, I hope that was informative to you.